All right, welcome. I think you can hear me. Yep. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Tim Howard. I got the pleasure of introducing Isaac Chavarria. Is that close? Yay, awesome. I didn't butcher it too bad. So he is a service desk technician with the Harris County Toll Road Authority. He's going to be talking about how a terrible OPSEC uh, system, I guess, led to his financial downfall. So I think he's going to be talking about something that we can all learn from, get some good life lessons from it. So Isaac's tech journey began in middle school and continued through robotics and coding. After graduating with a chemistry degree, he worked in the oil field and at a biochem startup. His interest in cybersecurity grew after attending DEF CON and experiencing a personal hack. He quickly obtained multiple CompTIA certifications and completed a SANS cybersecurity program. And he's currently focusing on his home lab projects and learning Rust. So welcome, Isaac. We look forward to your discussion.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me? All right. So a little bit of a lower attendance, and that's how I like it because it makes it a little less nerve-wracking. So at any moment in time, if you guys have any questions, please do stop me and let me know. So this is exactly for what it is. Basically, my money got stolen. It was a very unfortunate experience, but it was the experience that got me into cybersecurity. I'm going to be going through a couple of the preliminary things just to make sure that anybody that doesn't understand how cryptocurrency works, kind of just going to be going over it in the next 4 slides, and then I'm going to be laying out the whole experience as it went down. So these are the currencies. I was going to ask, does anybody invest in any cryptocurrency at the moment? Yes, no, maybe so. It's a tricky field, especially when you don't understand it. So at the time of the incident, this was many years ago. This was back in 2022. Well, not many, but 2 years ago. This was what I was holding in my cryptocurrency wallet, or the exchange. So it was basic annotation token. This is the token that's associated with Brave browser. I don't know if you guys use that browser at all. Then there's Ethereum. That one's an extremely popular one. Rivals second to Bitcoin. And then there's Tezos. I'm more than sure that the reason why I invested in that one is because somebody on YouTube told me to do it. You know, there's those influencers on there that are trying to always pump up a coin and then they just flush it and they leave. So those are the 3 that I had. The types of exchange, or the types of cryptocurrency holding formats. There's hot, cold, and then exchanges. So cold wallets are hardware wallets. So if anybody's familiar with things like a ledger, this is a physical device that will hold your keys in order for you to be able to trade currency back and forth. There's also paper wallets. I only knew this whenever I was prepping this presentation. It was essentially a QR code, and it was where your keys would be stored. You know, you'd scan the code and it would have that. And it also had the retrieval phrases in case you forgot the keys or whatever. I didn't have that, and I've never seen anybody use it, but I think it was in like the early years of cryptocurrency. Hot wallets. So this is desktop wallets, mobile wallets, web wallets. This is the kind of stuff that's just software based. It's, you know, on your computer itself. And then exchanges. It is centralized and decentralized. So centralized is where, like, you know, it's what it is, an intermediary entity sitting between a buyer and a seller. Decentralized is peer-to-peer transactions. So I'm going to be giving my friend, you know, some crypto. That would be decentralized. Centralized would be more like a market. Common wallets. So Ledger Nano is a hardware wallet. This is the one that's pretty popular at the moment. They've since revised past this little USB stick, but the one that used to be popular was the Ledger Nano. It's a USB-sized device that holds private keys and seed phrases. High security, given that the device must be in use in order for you to move money across the exchanges. There's the Coinbase wallet, which is also a pretty popular one. Coinbase exchange is a pretty popular, so when they made the wallet, that one grew. It gives users a private key to store locally, locally being on the phone itself, or if it's, well, I think it's only application based. And then the crypto.com. I've seen back whenever the crypto hype was happening, crypto.com was an extremely big exchange or a wallet format that was being used. It was on every YouTube ad. They were pumping this thing hard. And that's why I wanted to show it here, because it's high security through multiple multi-factor authentication process, such as biometrics, email, password, and phone. It really is a good wallet. Unfortunately, it was not the one I was using at the time. And then lastly, common exchanges. So this is, how we're moving money about in cryptocurrency. There's Coinbase, which was extremely popular. It's non-anonymous crypto exchange, which means that at some point in your registration process, you must have to verify your own identity. It's not very popular because cryptocurrency, for the most part, is used for some nefarious activities. So it's not that popular. There's Binance, which is the largest crypto exchange in the world in terms of just trading volume. It is a semi-anonymous crypto exchange. There are some factors to it that make it non-anonymous, but for the most part. And then the US version of Binance is restricted in comparison to the rest of the world. That's one of the reasons why not a lot of people here have heard about it. If they have, then they would know. But for the most part, here it's not that popular. And then Crypto.com, one of the largest crypto exchanges in the U.S. in terms of volume, right behind Binance. And interestingly enough, in 2021, Matt Damon, of all the actors, made an ad for them in support for them. It was pretty funny. Got a lot of backlash for it. All right. So, what exchanges aren't? Wallets. So, the beginning of this experience, I put this slide up because it really captures the entire idea of investing into something and having no idea how it works on the back end. And this is a testimony to that. So setting the stage, this all happened on March 4th, 2022, on a Friday. I was coming into work. It was the morning shift. I worked at a manufacturing plant. So usually the morning shift comes in at 5 a.m. You have your actual office people that come in like around 7:30. You have your safety that usually arrives there just a little bit early, maybe 4:45. But other than that, it's way early in the morning. People were just getting their coffee. So I was just getting there. And yes, it was supposed to be a good day. Supposed to be a good day. So email number 0. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to be presenting you a series of emails. This one is not one that I actually received. I'm pretty sure the one that I actually received, I deleted it. But this is, as I continue through the slides, what the emails that you will be seeing are from my personal inbox. So don't ignore these. This is an email from Microsoft. If you have an Outlook, you've seen this before, where it tells you that somebody signed into your email account. Unusual activity basically means it's not matching what it's shown before. You have either been logging in from, Houston, Texas, or maybe even the United States, and then just one afternoon you decided to log in from France, of all the places. It lets you know that something is going on. I would get so many of these that I thought they were fake. They're not, but unbeknownst to me. So the first email of this incident was at 5:45 a.m. This is an email from T-Mobile letting me know that my IMSI has been switched. So what is an IMSI? It stands for an International Mobile Subscriber Identity. It's a unique number that identifies each user or the SIM card. Nowadays, I'd recognize that we have eSIMs, but for the most part, the little physical chip that sits inside of the phone on a cell network. So what does a SIM? What does a IMSI do? Um, the phone number and its service has been or whenever you go through a SIM swap, sorry, the phone number and its service has been swapped from one SIM card to another, giving the holder a complete control of messages and calls inbound. So you are able to do this if you have, you know, if you wanted to do this, you would have to be the account holder. You call in, you have your device, you have the new SIM card that you want to move it into, and then you have the old one, and then you just simply say, hey, I would like to switch my service to this SIM card. That SIM card could be sitting inside of any kind of phone. It could be sitting in front of an Android, an iPhone, it doesn't matter. You're just simply switching the service from one device to another. This is the email that I got. I was still barely logging in, looking at emails and everything. So when I saw this one, my concern level was basically at about a 0. Um, as you saw before, I got the unusual email sign in. I didn't care. This one was no different. I saw it and I probably thought it was fake. Uh, and that's kind of the theme of this whole story here. But the second one, compromise number 1, I'll also be going over what I believe is this compromising factors that led kind of to the whole downfall. So the biggest one is the email. So the attacker performed the following most likely. I cannot say that for certain because I wasn't there with them, but this is kind of going through back and seeing the process is probably what happened. Access to the email via password guess or database dump. But currently now, I understand there is, a lot of steps to take in order for you to be secure. Changing, having different passwords, having different emails. At the time of this incident, I had one email for everything, and I had one password for everything. And if the password did change, it was like one capital or one special character. It was nothing fancy. So I was just a sitting duck. And if any of you guys know the website haveibeenpwned.com, it's basically a free website where you can go and put in your email, and it will tell you how many data breaches that email has been in. And I think the last time I did this to my email, it was in 15 data breaches. And that was at the time of the incident when I still didn't change a single password. It's just, it's hard to remember all those passwords. So they probably searched these email. Once they got access into the email account, they more than likely searched the email for crypto wallets, exchange interactions, phone numbers, password lists, social security numbers, or any other relevant information. This is very easy. You just simply go to the top of the inbox and you just type in, Coinbase.com or Binance.com or T-Mobile, whatever. And it's pretty surprising to know how much information there is just in any email. I mean, it's very common for you to send yourself or send other family members passwords, and you can just look that up like password, and then it's just long list of it. I know for a fact that in this during this time, I was transferring from one phone number to another, from one phone to another, and I sent myself all my passwords in a text file, .txt. I know, very genius. Thank you. So that was probably in there. And then they set up email filters. So this is one where I was, at the time I was very surprised, or I didn't understand. Now I'm very surprised. Basically what this means is there's rules that you can set up in your email account in order for it to, once an email comes in, something happens to it, based on the rule. It's a pretty intuitive and a genius idea to say, if I get an alert or if I get a security alert email, send it to the trash. If I'm an adversary sitting inside of somebody's account, that's a very good idea because I won't even get it. I would have to go into the trash to go find it. Compromise number 2, my T-Mobile account. So the attacker performed the following most likely. They called into T-Mobile impersonating as myself. So it's not that hard to impersonate, somebody, especially male. You just get on the voice. And nowadays you have like voice modifiers and everything, but all they had to do really is just call in and say, "Hey, my name is Isaac." And at the time of the incident, T-Mobile verifies you by asking for the last four digits of your social security number. I don't know if that's still the case right now, but that's the way they were able to get in. And obviously through the emails, you could get the last four digits. It's usually like the first five are asterisked out. The last four are always available, which does not make a lot of sense to me, but that's okay. And then they requested the IMSI swap. So email number two, 5:58 a.m. Two-factor is easy to bypass when you have control of the phone number. So the first one that I got was, "Hi Isaac, your two-step verification has been changed." Means it's probably been turned off. And then the second one was, "You recently received a request to reset your password for the Coinbase account." So at this point, my concern level is like at a 3, because at the time, a large amount of my money was inside of the cryptocurrency. So I was like, I see. Maybe there's a coin that's currently going to the moon. And maybe that's why this is happening. I don't know. I just thought any irrational idea, because this didn't make sense. And obviously, from the T Mobile email that I got, I was like, yeah, this is a little bit strange. So, compromise number 3 was the adversary had turned off the two-factor authenticator on the account, and they had changed the password to the account. Email number 4 at 6:04 a.m. "Hi, Isaac Chavarria. We've noticed that you have recently signed up for Coinbase Pro." Now my concern level is now at a 5. Coinbase Pro allows you to effectively borrow money, about $1,000 in credit, and any kind of cryptocurrency that you want. It also makes it to where your transactions are faster. And I think on there I have it, I'm not too sure, but the ability to just kind of waive away any of the transaction fees. I'm not too sure if it's on there or not. But Coinbase Pro makes it to where you can get rid of money or transfer money extremely quickly, or if you want to liquidate and pull the money out, that's possible as well. Or by liquidating, I mean moving it to a different account. And again, my concern level is like at a 5 at the moment. So emails number 5, 6, 7, and 8, 6:08 a.m. Let's see here. I can barely see it from this side, but it says, "Your BTC has been changed and transferred over." So this is the first one. This is the second one. This is the basic token. This is the Tezos coin. And this is the Ethereum 2 Bitcoin. So at this point, the adversary has completely and utterly successfully transferred all of the funds into Bitcoin, and will be taking them completely out of the account. I was at a 8. I was at a 9. At this point, I'm like standing up. It's nobody else is in the room, and I'm like freaking out. And I don't put this in the slide, but I realize that I have to stop this process, right, as any normal person would do. And so I go to the safety officer on site, and I'm running. And the reason why is because initially I thought, okay, let me call over Coinbase, let me tell them to stop the process. I look at my phone and it says no service available, and I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm calling any number, and nothing is going out. I have been SIM swapped. My phone is basically just a brick. It isn't doing anything. So I'm panicking. I'm running over to the plant, and in a plant environment, you're supposed to have what's called PPE, personal protection equipment. These are hard hats, boots, steel-toe boots, fire-retardant clothing. I have none of that on. I'm running on in sandals and basketball shorts, and I'm running across the plant. And my safety officer sees me and starts gunning me down. He's running after me. And I'm running towards him, and I'm just like, I need a phone. I need a phone bad. And he's just like, put your crap on. And I'm just like, give me your phone. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, like, and this is somebody that doesn't really understand crypto at all. And I tell him, like, my crypto got stolen. He said, I don't care what got stolen. Get off of my plant and don't come back on here unless you have stuff on. And I'm trying to explain to him the situation. You know, I got these emails. I'm pretty sure somebody hacked me. And we're trying to get it flushed out. This is time that it's taking for me to be able to take some course of action. So that's kind of the picture that I'm trying to paint here. Email number 9, 6:32 a.m. I managed to get his phone, my safety manager's phone, and call into Coinbase. Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point. So it says, "Dear Isaac, for security reasons, your Coinbase account has been locked." Um, at this point, I have completely just thought, okay, everything is fine. A lot like whenever you get scammed on a credit card or you get scammed on your debit card, most people, well, I don't know if most people, but I myself think, okay, it's not too bad, right? A credit card, it's not my money, it's the bank's money. It's okay. The bank will go and figure it out for themselves. So when I called into Coinbase and I told them, hey, you know, transactions have been made, I didn't authorize them, please revert them, the Coinbase guy proceeded to tell me, so the way cryptocurrency works is once it goes out, it does not come back. Once that transaction has been completed, it's like physical money. Somebody, you gave it over to somebody or somebody stole it from you, they ran away, there is no tracking on a dollar bill. So that was what the guy was trying to explain to me in layman's terms, and I was not understanding it at all. So my hope is all lost here. So this email really was just like the nail in the coffin. So what happened? Bad OPSEC. I was just your average user. So one thing that this experience really led me to understand is there's a lot of people out there that were like myself in this situation where they either got on a hype train or somebody told them about something and they got invested into it, and they didn't research it. They didn't do enough background information and trying to understand what it is that they were getting themselves into. So I was using the same password for everything. With only changing two or four characters. I was using the same email for everything. The PIN code that I was using was the same PIN code that I've been using since elementary school as my lunch number. I was using it for everything. I mean, I thought this is great. I only have to remember one number. Why would I want to remember any other number, right? And I realized that there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people that they have one PIN code for everything, and they don't want to change that. So this is the kind of stuff that happens whenever you don't take security seriously. I was using the same security question for literally everything. What was your first pet's name? If they could figure that out, I am done for. Like my first pet, that is everything. Um, Not the pet, but like the question. Not using two-factor when it's available. Two-factor authentication when it's available. This one nowadays is something that users really can't even run away from. Two-factor authenticator is in everything, and most softwares or most services that people use, it is forced. And I think that's a good thing, and I know that's an annoyance to a lot of people, but it truly does cover your butt whenever situations like this occur. Looking back, so what could have happened that could have led to this specific type of attack? Email access could have been gained through what's called a combo list. So on the dark web or maybe just on sketchy parts of the internet, there are websites that sell what's called combo lists. Some of them sell them, some of them they just make it freely available. It's just a combination of an email and a password that was gained through some kind of data breach. The attackers could have gained persistence through actions like creating email rules and sending specific emails to junk folder. The reason why I harp on this is because after the incident occurred, I found some of the Coinbase emails in my junk folder, and they were like about to just get cleared out, and I didn't even realize it. That they even put a filter in place. I never checked the rules of my email. because it's my personal email. I'm just like, I want to see everything. Why would I want to filter anything out? Obviously, besides the junk stuff. The attackers use social engineering to impersonate me and convince the telephone company to switch the SIM card. Again, this is something that's even more possible because voice changes and everything. So these are looking back into these are the vectors and the paths that I believe that they took to access my account ultimately. So what did we learn? Don't invest in crypto. That's a joke. Do it. Use two-factor when available. Use a password manager. I had literally never heard of a password manager up until after this. I literally thought that the only way that you could just store all your passwords was in the Notes app on your phone. And I was just convinced. I was like, this is like the best way to do it. You write down your passwords here, and if somebody decides to to get into your phone, then hey, you're doomed. I really thought that was the only way. Now I have a password manager. Pay attention to emails. I mean, that one's obvious, but a lot of the times, especially if your email is filled with a lot of junk or it's filled with a lot of security or, hey, this is an alert, like these are things that you need to be paying attention to. If an email has been in too many security breaches, maybe create a new one. I originally only had one email. Now I'm sitting on 6. I think this is not too much of a bad thing. I know that having multiple emails can become very confusing, but if you split them up into different categories, say for instance, if I'm going to be attending some kind of conference and I know that everybody's going to scan this badge and send me all their spam email, you might want to make an email for that. If you know that you're going to be applying for jobs and you're going to be using something a little more professionally, you might want to make an email for that. I don't see that as a bad thing, and I think it's something that should be encouraged. Responsibly research and investments and how they work. I think that one's pretty obvious, especially for cryptocurrency, where I didn't understand what I was dealing with and thought because it was on the computer it could be reverted, and that's not the case. So
Thank you, Isaac. Do we have any questions for him? I certainly learned a few things through that as well. I actually pulled up my Coinbase. I hadn't pulled up in years, and I realized I'm 6x where I was. I'm not going to retire because it wasn't a lot of money, but it is 6x. So it's pretty good. Any questions for the experience that he went through, or anybody have an experience that they've had similar to that?
and I think one of the major things is that in for phone providers, they understand that it is a risk and they understand that it's an ongoing issue with a lot of their customers, that SIM swapping is a thing, but you also have to recognize that it is overly frustrating as a customer to go through so many barriers of verification when you're just trying to simply change over your phone, because I know that that's one of the things that family members of mine face whenever they're trying to change their phone, and they said, why in the world am I having to verify on so many different levels? Just let me change my phone. And we don't recognize why they have been put in place, because people like me. So
Well, we get so busy. In fact, literally yesterday, I was flipping through my personal emails. I saw one from Wells Fargo. It said something about a fraud alert, and I'm like, that's probably a fake deal. And I get this phone call, and it's from an 833 number, and I'm like, delete. And sure enough, they shut my credit cards down. Because you're like, those are probably both fake. Well, they were actually real. As you were saying, you kind of waved past several of these, right?
Yep. And one of the things that I've seen, and a pretty impressive vector for trying to compromise someone's account nowadays, is on the slide that I did show the that hey, watch out, this is somebody's trying to log in. So that blue button right there that says what does it say? Report the use or whatever. Report the user. That's a fake email. That, if you hover over the link, it'll send you to something completely different. It is not Microsoft at all. So now I understand that just because you see this email doesn't necessarily mean you should even trust it itself, because it's a common vector for someone trying to compromise your account. So yeah, they're getting pretty good at this stuff now. And I realize that, especially for, a lot of inexperienced users with technology, man, yeah, they're falling for it.
Other questions or experiences that are similar in nature?
At the time, I think I lost about 5,000, and I am back in it, but nowhere near as close. Just because I was basically burned and scarred. I got the Ledger Nano. I put I think like $2,000 in it, and I thought about it, and I was just like, I think I'm good. Yeah, it was very unfortunate, but hey, learning experience.
Anybody else with other crypto experiences?
Oh, ultimately. So the Ledger Nano itself, what happens is, in order for you to be able to begin a transaction, those private keys or that temporary key must be enabled in order for you to actually push the coin to say, okay, I would like to make it to where I'm going to exchange it for either this currency or move it over to this person's account. Physical wallets are extremely good. The only problem is if they are destroyed or if they die, that is the end of it. That there's no retrieval.
Yeah.
So
or they get lost.
yeah,
Because literally, I've got one that I think I threw in the safe, and I probably haven't seen for 4 years.
yeah.
And it had $100 on it, so maybe it's worth a little something now. I have no idea how to get the money off of it.
Yep. And I have one right now that I always forget to charge it, the Ledger Nano, and then I'm just like, man, where did it go? It has money on it, I think. Someone has taken it, but yeah, now I use a hardware wallet, and it would have helped tremendously. Yeah, I whenever I was looking up the different types of exchanges, it's a way back whenever your only way to acquire Bitcoin was like in through very sketchy websites. The QR code is what essentially had your private key on it. So you would scan it, and then it would pull up the very long string of letters and numbers. But if you didn't save that picture, that PNG, that was it. You're out of luck. So paper wallets are extremely uncommon. Extremely uncommon. Oh man. I've found that the best way nowadays going forward, making passwords, if you find it very hard to remember, especially when you like random ones, have random symbols in them. Sometimes phrases like a sentence with no spaces work just as well. You easily clear through the minimum 15 character limit if it's just a very long phrase or a very long sentence.
Yeah, the number one, I guess, security thing with passwords is length. Just the longer it is, and whether it's a phrase or not, and whether it even has a special character, it's just length. It is.
Right. Yeah, and then you do. Yeah, no, it helps out great because even if you're working with like your notes app on your iPhone, you still have to click and hold and copy it all, and yeah, no, some of those apps are way more efficient. So I agree.
What I tell people is give up on the cute password that you have reused over and over and over, right? Any other final questions for Isaac? Yeah, nice and loud.
Also, another great way. Hello? Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, cool.
I can hear you. You're good.
Hello? All right. So, also another great alternative now that a lot of companies will offer as an alternative to like 2FA with your phone, your SIM that can get like SIM swapped. A lot of companies now you can use an authenticator where you give. I mean, it's just like an app, and you normally have a backup code that stores all of your like accounts, but you give your like authenticator code to the app, and every 60 seconds it generates a new string that when you try to log in, your app will ask you for your string, and then you give them the string, and it's a lot harder to steal like on like a SIM swap. So
Yeah, the rolling codes is very effective. One thing that I learned from being SIM swapped is even if you had two-factor authenticator turned on, the moment they get your phone, they are getting the security code. I know that a lot of companies are starting to realize that there's a big vulnerability, and if someone takes your phone physically or through SIM swapping, that's it for you. So that kind of rolling codes that you're talking about, that helps out greatly with that.
Any final question? Comment? Donations? All right, let's give a big round of applause for Isaac. Thank you very much. Really great topic.